Welcome to you once again. This is Astrology, bringing you my tarot series, giving you tarot and patra readings, birth charts, crystals and runes included. Join me on this journey. Okay, Trine, let's see what is in store for you, and recall that Trine is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and we are dealing with the period August 1st to the 21st. And the situation with you comes from the card the Hermit, and the Hermit is an external card, so you may not have control over the situation where you are forced to isolate yourself, where you are forced to have a time of deep reflection and to seek inner knowledge. You know, the Hermit here walks in the darkness with only a lantern in his hand to illuminate his path. So therefore it's a time of solitude, but not of loneliness, because this is a time that the external forces, the external energies are telling you that you need time for yourself. You need to take a step back from whatever you are doing, or whatever you are doing, you need to seek some kind of solitude to think, to meditate, to have some inner thoughts on what is happening and what you want to retreat from or what you want to go forward to. And in this meditative state, you know, you can hear the whispers of your heart and learn the true direction that your life should take. The Hermit is a soul searcher and is here to encourage you to reflect on your deepest feelings and your needs. And you know, the appearance of this major arcana card tells you that it's a time for a pause. It is time for you to push that pause button, and it can be a major turning point for you. You know, a new path may be opening to you that you have been unable to see because of the distractions around you or the noise around you in the outside world. You know, sometimes life forces us into a retreat, and sometimes it's by choice, but this time it may not be by choice. But either way, you know, it is from the darkness that we find the light. And you know, the energies of the Hermit um comes out when something is out of balance with you. You know, you might be spending money, you may be going on vacation, but you're not happy. And why are you not happy? You know, you might have a promotion at a job, you might probably have just gotten into a relationship, but something is missing. And this is saying that something is out of balance, so that you need to reflect and stop resisting for looking within for the answers. So this is what the Hermit, this is your situation, this is what it's telling you. Then the next card that we're dealing, it is what led to this. You know, what is the position that you're in caused by? What is the influence? What is the heart of the situation? You know, your desires, your challenges, your hopes and fears, where does it come from? And it comes from the Seven of Wands, and it tells you that you have been standing up for what you're believing in. You know, your beliefs, your decisions, you have stood by them, whether they were right or wrong. And probably that situation is now crowding you and squeezing you to understand that, oh my goodness, it has been so energetic, so confusing, so chaotic, that I really need some time for myself. The Seven of Wands is when others put you in a position to argue your point. You know, you rise to the occasion. You are passionate about your desires, your morals. You're not afraid to defend them. But that passion, that energy, that action, that rage, that um attitude to defend, always being on your guard, standing, stressful, tension, it has brought you to the point of the Hermit where you really want to take some time for yourself. You know, and the Seven of Wands sends a clear message to don't allow yourself to compromise your thoughts and opinions to make others more comfortable, to avoid an argument. But it is now time to give yourself some time. The Hermit tells you that, you know, but the Seven of Wands lets you know that you are really alone in the way you think. feel and behave, but that position might be the best thing you have going for you in your life right now. And if you stand by your decisions, if you stand by your beliefs, and it isolates you and makes you into the hermit, then go with it. It's best for you at this point in time. And what are the factors that you and your attitude that you should consider? And this one is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands starts for in tarot, it's all about perseverance, stamina, resilience, defensiveness. And we've just gone through that with the Seven of Fire. That will bring us to the Hermit. You are standing for your belief. You are defensive on your stance because you are defending, you believe in yourself. And the Nine of Wands is just supporting you here, telling you that you have been through the battles. You might be a little bandaged and you might have a little crutch to walk on, but you are still alive. You are still standing. Your character has given you that toughness to work through the situation. You might be hurt, but you're not down. You're still standing. And you have become defensive because you have gotten hurt. So that, you have to reinforce the quality of the Seven of Wands here, that, you need to be cautious, yes, but you should proceed. There is a possibility of being hurt again, physically or mentally. And defensiveness is natural when you have been hurt. But the solution here is not to be bitter, not to be vengeful. Take it in stride, take it as a lesson learned, isolate yourself for a little while, meditate, understand that your path might be one that you have to do solo, but it will not be lonely because there will be people at your back. Strength and stamina are other aspects of the Nine of Wands. And as a fighter, you need to be tough and have the inner stamina to persist, come what may. The Nine of Wands wants you to keep going despite all odds. Do not give up, whatever the opposition. But the opposition is here saying that stick to your beliefs, defend your position, but think about what you're doing. Think about it because you are on your own. You may have gone through rough times and gotten hurt, but you are still not defeated. It's resilience that you are going to bring out with the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Fire. That is the resilience. And what is the timing here for this air trine? The timing comes from the Queen of Air or the Queen of Swords, and Swords is usually weeks. So within weeks you should see things coming to fruition, because the Queen of Swords in the tarot stands for honesty, forthrightness, experience. So that it's an inward focus here too with the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Air, because this is independence, experience, realistic, witty. And the objective decision making is clearing away all that no longer serves you, looking at seeing the humor in a situation, as it were. So that this card, this Queen of Air, is also telling you to look at the realistic position, look at the commitment that you've made and speak the truth. Tell it exactly as it is, because there's no space here for lies and tricks. There's no pretense with the Queen of Air. She's very forthright. And this person, which is what is the solution, what you have to leave in the past. You have to leave the trickery and the deceit in the past. Be forthright, be what you are required to be in terms of honesty and wittiness, and use your experience for what you fully understand. Because you understand what is good, you understand what is bad, so use that to have the solution within weeks, to make that decision to do what you are required to do through the Queen of Swords. And when the Queen of Swords is upright, It means that you need to think and feel like her. And the first and foremost way to do this is to be completely honest. You need to figure out what is going on and to ensure that you are not letting yourself be fooled. And you may also see the humor in the situation, as I said, but make sure you are inspired by honesty here. Be objective and clear all the baggage from your mind, because the Queen of Swords deals with your intellect. And what will be the and this is going to happen within weeks. And what will be the outcome? The outcome comes from the Four of Cups. And this Four of Cups tells you that you need to stop focusing so much on yourself and start to look outward, because that will be the outcome when you do the inward journey from the Hermit. When you look objectively through the Queen of Air and you stand by your belief and you defend and don't give up on your priorities and what you see as your goals, the Four of Cups is going to then allow you to start looking outwards, where you can focus on the needs of others. But the journey starts with you from the Hermit to look within yourself first before you can look at others, because that is the outcome. And the outcome, of, as it says, you need to focus on the outside, but you need to focus on yourself first, because self-reflection is great in times of stress. And when you go within yourself to reflect and restore your emotional balance, it could be a sign that you need to remove apathy, that lethargic feeling that you have now reflected. Let's move on. And if the Four of Cups appears, or when it does appear as it does here, your advisor has revealed a kind of a stubborn, ungrateful, and self-absorbed person. So that you don't want to be that self-absorbed, stubborn person who is ungrateful. You want to be somebody who, when you have done your inner reflection, you become the Queen of Swords. You become the Queen of Air. You don't want the outcome to be the Four of Cups. However, you can take the kindness of the universe and join the real world in choosing how you do this. The Four of Cups, sometimes when it appears, it insists that your detachment from being part of the world is becoming an issue. So what these cards are telling you is that become the Hermit, but don't do it for long, because your detachment will become an issue if you don't come out of your self-isolation, your self-meditative state, your solitude. But you need to start the period going into solitude, but do not take long. Probably only within this period you take that solitude and you learn what you have to learn, you defend what you have to defend, you protect what you have to protect. But at the end of the day, be realistic. Use your experience to make an objective decision, so that the outcome is not the Four of Water or the Four of Cups for you, Air Trine. Bhagwan's blessings has once again allowed me to bring another video to you on the Air Trine, and I ask that you share, you sign up, and you subscribe. I always ask that you stay safe, healthy, and happy until we meet again. This is usually my ending for my videos, but I always like to mix things up at Zidam Astrology. And after this slide, you will find a tutorial on the concept of the trine, which I am utilizing for these horoscopes of the zodiac for you on Zidam Astrology on my YouTube channel. So if you wish to have further information on why I use the concept of the trine and what the trine is all about, then you can continue on with this video. Thank you so much, and once again I remind you, share, sign up, and subscribe. The next 3 slides give you a synopsis or summary of the Air Trine and Vedic astrology and its alignment with the tarot card and the tarot spread as we see it, or as I see it here at Zidam Astrology. And this is just a reminder that the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay, this is your tutorial. As I mentioned to you in this video, that I'm going to leave a tutorial so that you can see why I have formulated the Trine concept to read horoscopes at Zedam Astrology rather than read individual signs from Aries to Pisces for you. And I've found in my research and in my reading and from my teachings that there are commonalities between the tarot and the Kundali, which is your birth chart in Vedic astrology. So that these are the commonalities that have aligned together, that have created a method that will utilize the tarot and Vedic astrology to read and analyze for you in the Trine concept. And this is a Kundali or birth chart taken randomly on somebody born on April 21st, 2022 at 6 a.m. And this person's birth chart or natal placements are here for you to see that these are the placement. This is the fate of this person. This is the ascendant or lagna, as we say in Vedic astrology, where we say this is the first house of the 12 houses in the zodiac sign. So wherever the ascendant or lagna falls is where we denote in Vedic astrology your first house. And in this particular chart we go clockwise from Aries to Pisces so that we'll know where your first to 12th house falls. So your first house is Aries, your 12th house will be Jupiter. And each house in Vedic astrology denotes something. It denotes your wealth, your family, your siblings, your relatives, your children, your marriage, your father, your mother, your work, your career, your community, your luck, your spirituality, your illnesses, whether it's chronic or routine, you know, how you will earn your money, how you will lose your money, a multiplicity of things. And each of these houses has its significations that we read for you in Vedic astrology. So this is your natal chart. This is your fate. You cannot change the positioning of these planets in your Kundali, because this is the placement of the planets when you were born, the time you were born, and the place you were born. However, you cannot change fate, but you can change destiny. And destiny comes from the transit of the planets, because each of these planets, they move from one sign to the next during particular periods. And you can change your destiny through your freedom of expression and will, through your ambition, through your courage, so that you can change destiny. You can't change fate. And the transit of planets will give you a chance to change your destiny. And transits, planets move, as we see here, Saturn every 2.5 years, and so on and so forth. This is how planets move from one sign to the next. Neptune takes 14 years to move from one sign to the next. Mercury takes 1 month. Sun takes 1 month. And you will see these are the 12 planets that I deal with at Zedam Astrology, so that they are the ones that I look at and how they move. And every placement of a planet in a particular sign says something, does something, has an aspect on your natal planet, and it throws out potential or a pathway for you to understand what can be happening. You know, it is the natal chart is a map of what the sky was like on the day for us to know ourselves and to better understand the types of energy we have available for each moment and situation in life. And because of the transits where destiny can be changed, we can say that this placement is not decisive, but it shows options and it marks pathways in which we can utilize to make choices during our lifetime. And then we have the source code of astrology, and that FEAW is basically fire, earth, air, and water. Those are the trines that I look at, and the 4 elements are the source code of astrology, and they are the blueprint of your soul. You know, you become the architect of your destiny by using this blueprint of our soul. And the blueprint of our soul, one of the trines that I use because it's the foundation. You know, one of the trines that I use is the Dharma Trikona, and the Dharma trine tells you that, you know, this is the trine that keeps us on the soul's mission, the accumulated merit and the manifestation of past karma. And this 159 denotes the houses 1, 5, and 9. And as you see, we have fire, earth, air, and water trines. So this is the source code of astrology. And tradition holds that religious duty, your dharma, is the primary aim of human life, since it is the foundation which you develop your wisdom and your discretion to pursue wealth, which is artha, which is another trine, happiness, karma, which is a third trine, and we pursue these wealth and happiness from the wisdom we get from dharma, so that we will not compromise our chances of liberation, which is moksha, which is the fourth trine. But I use the first trine because it is the foundation, it is the primary aim of the of your birth on this earth. And Hinduism describes the Dharma trine as the natural universal laws whose observance enables us to be contented and happy, and to save ourselves from degradation and suffering. So that dharma is the moral law combined with spiritual discipline that guides our life. You know, and this is what the dharma trine is. And I'm just going to pull up another version of the zodiac circle, the 12 signs, and I'll just give you an example, so that this random Kundalini or birth chart gives you Aries as the ascendant. And with Aries as the ascendant, that will be the first house. The first house will be Aries, the fifth house will be Leo, and the ninth house will be Sagittarius. And this is the trine. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is the fire trine. And with the fire trine, even if your first Bhava is Leo, then Leo will be your first house, Sagittarius will be your fifth, and Aries will be your ninth. You will still remain in that trine if your ascendant moves from Aries to Leo or Sagittarius. And remember, your ascendant moves every 2.5 hours every day from one zodiac sign to our next in Vedic astrology. And then we have the earth trine, and the earth trine can begin with Taurus, and if it begins with Taurus, then you would have as your fifth house, you will have Virgo. As your ninth house, you will have Capricorn, and this is your earth trine. Then your air trine will be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That is your air trine. And obviously your water trine will then be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, so that all your signs are taken care of there, as you see. So these are the trines. And why I do the horoscope in trines is because Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, when one is activated, each of these are activated because they are in a trine. They are in a dharma trine, a dharma, where your duty, where your vision, where your wisdom are all created for you to understand that first house is you are born, then fifth house is your children, and the ninth house is your father. So you get the circle of evolution. Your father produces you with your mother. Your mother helps you throughout your life. When you are an adult, then you produce children. And that is where you get this circle of evolution, so that the dharma trine here is what connects each of these three signs in the zodiac. And then we have the tarot deck, and the tarot deck as we know it has wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. And you will see that the wands is with fire, the pentacles is earth, and swords are air, and cups are water. So that here now we have the commonality between the tarot deck and the zodiac astrology, the source code of astrology. So that this is what I find with the commonalities. There are so many other things that I can speak about, but this is the basic. This is the basic. And if we have to talk about, a tarot spread, that my go-to tarot spread is the Tetractys. And the Tetractys tarot spread comes from that Greek philosopher Pythagoras, who threw out for us the Pythagoras theorem. And he can be viewed as a Vedic Brahmin, because three of the things he did or believed in was that he wore white exclusively, he was a vegetarian, and he believed in reincarnation. And his theorem existed in the Sanskrit texts in India. So that there we have the commonality again. And then even so, the tarot deck, the fire is clubs, pentacles is diamonds, swords is aligned to spades, and cups is aligned to hearts. So this is where we get the commonalities. This is where I can utilize a union of tarot and Vedic astrology to bring you a complex issue, but a different take on reading your birth chart, because you cannot live by yourself, you weren't born by yourself, and you can't grow up by yourself. There is a community, and that community brings the trine, so that you feel comfortable if you are in the fire trine with people from Leo and Sagittarius if you were born in Aries. Likewise, it goes so for the other trines. So this is my research, this is my method that I use, and I hope I was clear, complete, and concise. I ask that you share, sign up, and subscribe, review my videos, look at my transit series, and I will join you next time. Thank you so much. This final informational slide tells you about its synergy between Vedic astrology and tarot based on my research at Zedam Astrology. And I ask that you look at it, you understand it, you digest it. If you don't understand, as I said, look at my previous videos or drop me a line at zedamastrology.com or zeda55@outlook.com.